In the 90s, there was a plethora of game studios making incredible content, akin to modern indie devs, but back then you didn't have incredible tools for development and publishing available nowadays. The devs had to grind code all night to make their game work, then once something bearable was made, there was an even greater labor required to obtain a publisher willingness to invest capital in distributing the game. One of these companies was Frog City Software. The company was founded in 1994 by Rachel Bernstein and brothers Bill and Ted Spieth. The three founded the company name with a play on the name of San Francisco's nickname, Fog City, and assembled a small team to design a new kind of game. Taking inspiration from recently released Civilization and Master of Magic, and including an in-depth economy with fair, balanced AI, the team started working on their first title. In 1995, Frog City Software signed a contract for it. Imperialism the game will be published by Strategic Simulation Inc., a massive game publisher of the period with high specialization in strategy games. The president at the time, Chuck Krogel, called it the thinking man's civilization. 2 more years went into the development, and finally it hit the shelves in 1997 for both the Mac and the PC. Set during the industrial period, the innovative title brought in a lot of interest. The quickly evolving world allowed the harnessing of a slow-paced world domination mixed with an engaging battle system strewn together by a cohesive world economy and trading system, resulting in a massive commercial success totaling over 400,000 retail units. The publisher was so impressed that they requested a sequel. The studio began a side project for a larger and far more complex game on a brand new engine, named AXVI, that will be in 2.5 dimension, with rendered sprites on a 3D world. But due to the success of Imperialism, the team worked in tandem on a successor. The period was set in another era famous for imperialism, the Gilded Age of Sail, the unbridled age of colonization, looting, and profiteering. Of course, I'm talking about the 16th century, where the world expanded from a single, simple continent to one filled with expensive resources and cheap labor at the other end of the world. Imperialism 2 brought a whole new slew of changes in the pace of the game, while yet again keeping a laser focus on world domination, but included an extensive colonization, a classic battle mechanic, and a strong economy aspect. The game was a relative success, exceeding goals and matching the first one in sales. But not everything can always be roses. The second title the group was tirelessly working on was Pantheon, the game for which they built an engine from scratch that was a RTS and RPG mix about Greek gods. The game tied role-playing quests with strategic goals in a new way. By the year 2000, the publisher SSI merged with Mindscape, who was acquired by TLC, the learning company that was then acquired by Mattel, the toy company, who was getting ready to sell the entire stack of company to Ubisoft. So they decided to just axe out the title that had nothing to show for yet, and thus years of work went to waste. Or maybe not that much. Frog City Software got back on their footing and flipped the engine to work on a brand new game. This time the objective was to make a real-time trading simulator that spanned 4,000 years of history over 4 continents. The game had to be completed quickly to limit expenses, and the publisher for it, Eidos, was pulling out of the PC gaming at the time. The team was forced to release the game ahead of schedule to let the publisher square off a month. The game has been less popular than Imperialism series, and while had an impressive scope to cover real-time economy for millenniums, it did feel incomplete and relatively unpolished at release in September 2001. Following the less than stellar release, Frog City Software started working on a sequel of Tropico 1 by PopTop Software. Tropico 2, Pirates Cove was a city builder with a big plot twist. Whereas the first game was to set up a communistic paradise in the tropics, here we have to build up a safe haven for pirates. You'll have to house pirates and give them the means to spend their money on your island by providing food, alcohol, and weapons with the help of captives on your island. It used yet again the AVXI engine that started showing some age in 2003, but was nevertheless a great success, selling 300,000 copies. Following the great success of Tropico 2, Frog City began working on Spy Master, a strategy role-playing game about spies during the Cold War. During the sales pitch to different publishers, they found out that Gathering loved the idea so much that they outright acquired the entire studio, and the team was set to work away on the game. During development, the publisher was acquired by 2K Games and changed their mind and drew a brand new shining plans for the game. Rather than being spies working undercover, the game will become one about drug smuggling in South America. A strategy game featuring running illegal goods and diverse illicit enterprise was underway. The game was now called Snow, and was featured with high anticipation at the 2K Games booth in the 2005 E3 show. But it turns out that making a game on such slippery slope was questionable. After all, this is the period where the ESRB re-rated Oblivion from teen to mature, and the Hot Coffee controversy for San Andreas was at peak publicity. There was no interest from anyone in the industry to bring even more heat to themselves, so the game was canned. Following the cancellation of the game, the studio did not have much left after 3 years of hard work, and Take-Two, the owners of Frog City at the time, was on a killing spree of small subsidiary at the same time. So the fate was done and Frog City was terminated. Many developers from the studio were merged into Firaxis to work on more strategy game, but the main core of the team rejoined in a new studio, Sidecar Studios, and start working on new games for Xbox Live Arcade for Sierra Online. But after a year in time, the remainder of the staff dissolved away and Sidecar Studios was closed without a single game published. After my researches, I was unable to locate what activities the two Speed brothers were up to, but Rachel Bernstein went to Electronic Arts to work on Sims Medieval and Sims 4, and is now with Google since 2013. Frog City Software, while only had 4 games to their title, did make interesting ones. And if you're curious to learn more about them, I did review 3 of them, so you can check them out here. Tropico 2 is on my to-do list at the moment, so let me know if you're interested in more of these documentary-ish videos, and make sure to subscribe for more. I'm Strategy Joe, and thank you for watching. See you next time.